I want to share with you the experience that I had when I first encountered the system. I had a case where everything pointed to bryonia, and at a certain point in an acute situation, the remedy was Rumex. And if you go into the table and you look up the family and Michal's table, and you look up the items, the issues there, then that was exactly the case. But on a superficial level, which was a bryonia case, you know, from the books, like Leave Me Alone and all that. So I think, hey, this is good, this is nice. I will check it out. With every plant case, I'm going to check it out. And every time it shows another light, another point of view, another level in the case. And it makes you understand so much more the remedies. Now we have an understanding from the sensational level, we have an understanding from the basic materia medica, and we have an understanding from this system. So I am very enthusiastic about it, and I hope that within a few hours you share my enthusiasm, and I'm sure you will. So Michal is a botanist from education and has been working on this system for 20 years? Yes. So she developed it. It is grounded into as well botanical knowledge as homeopathical knowledge, and it is very extensive, very well thought of, and I hope you will enjoy this seminar with me. Okay? So I leave the floor to you.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so again, my name is Michal. This is how you pronounce it. For the people from Holland, I guess it will be easier to say. For those it's difficult, you can say Michel. Indeed, I was a botanist in my past, and this was when I studied biology, and then the second degree I studied model ecology, mostly models, theoretical ecology, and then I went to homeopathy, and I did my PhD in the medicine school, and I thought, well, I never go back to botany. I love it, but you know, there's something in my past. And then I think it was in the second year of homeopathy that, this was like 24 years ago, they started to speak about the mineral tables. And I thought, oh, there is order. Yeah, must be order in nature, must be order in the world. This is how I view the world. There is order in it. So there should be in plants. I've been a botanist. I know there is order in plants. And I asked people, and there was no answer for that. So as my mind goes, I started to answer myself. And I'm a slow person, so it took me like 10 years to get an answer for that. But I've been just gathering information, cases, materia medica, lectures. I heard Jan Scholten came and he spoke about the asterales. Vermeulen came and he spoke about the liliales. Another homeopath spoke about another group, and I said, oh, so you see they can speak about groups. So this is the way it should be looked at, not in the level of one species, but in the level of a group. Because minerals you have like, what, 40 something? But plants you have thousands of. So you cannot refer them as one. You could look at the miasm. You could look even as Scholten is doing. Look at the miasm as in place in the like he's row 16 or something like that. Things that he's doing, but generally you need to refer it as a group. So this is what I did. I started to look it up, and actually the group that helped me the most, that put everything in place, was the same group that Hahnemann used, the group of China. I one day asked myself, what is common to Coffea, Ipecacuana, and China? And this was like, on face value, it doesn't look like it has something in common. Can you think of something that is common to them? And you think you all know those remedies, but what's common to them?
Ideas, fantasies?
Yeah, nice. Ideas, fantasies, but yes, so go on a little bit. Developing. Stimulation. But what is hindering them? They cannot do. You remember the delusion of China that he is hindered? Because this is actually, I understood that this is like the adolescent stage. If you look at Ipecacuana has delusion about her body. She feels it's like a teenager feel, oh, I'm too fat, or my body, I don't want to grow. This is why Ipecacuana is a very good remedy for anorexia nervosa, because this is an adolescent stage where they don't want to go any farther. They don't want to go to the next stage to grow up, to be an adult. So they say, no, I want to retain my body image of a child. So this is why they use Ipecacuana even as a material dose. Anyone who knew the singer, Karen Carpenter, yeah, I think she died from overdose of Ipecacuana. So this was the idea that it just, you cannot, you don't want to go any farther. So I thought, oh, so this is an adolescent stage where you have lots of ideas and, oh, you're just ready to burst, but you're not there yet. So you're hindered. But so Ipecacuana just says, no, I don't want to go. China says, oh, I have all those fantasies, I want to go, but I'm hindered. And Koffer says, I have all those wonderful fantasies and ideas, I can go there, but the moment it's too much for, like, the vessels, this body is not enough, even my mind, my emotion is not ready to carry it on. So he's kind of burned up by all those ideas when he started to carry them on. So I thought, oh, this is adolescent stage. So actually what I'm seeing along the line, if we start from this column, I already understood the basic of column, these subclasses, this group of plants. The first group is Solanacea. So this is just the beginning, something which is just before everything is started, the subconscious. And the last group is the Asteracea, or the Asterales, which is the end. So I thought, oh, this is actually stages of the human development, from babyhood, or even before, from being in the womb to old age. And then the columns are just stages of development of human consciousness and awareness. And so I slowly started I researched some psychology and read many books about it, and so I thought, oh, the best way to describe this development is done by Erickson. So this is the system I use for the rose, just for and for the columns it's more Jung, I think, that describe this, but it is also lots of philosophies and Kabbalistic understanding that came into, which we will see during the day. So this was the overall process of it, just looking and saying, oh, so now I'm using it whenever I have a case, and the case just present a stage in development. So I can use it for differential diagnosis, because if you see that your case is just in the beginning of development, then there is no use giving it Nux vomica or Senectio or Arnica. Or if you see someone who's sitting in your clinic and is so decisive, don't give him Pulsatilla. Even Pulsatilla can be obstinate, but under it there is this something which is very flexible and can bend in any wind. So it should be there. So when we understand the case, sometimes you don't have an understanding, but when you understand the case, you can use it as differential diagnosis. So it's a very useful tool, because once you understand it, and it starts to be very easy. Oh, it's just there, and now I've done a repertorization, and I can use it just for differential diagnosis. Sometimes I'm using it, the more I know it, I use it in the case directly, because sometimes this is all you get in the case. Especially nowadays, where people have been so much to therapy and self-awareness and all that, sometimes that's all you get. A person come and tell you, I'm blocked. Okay, yeah, no. You have some symptoms, and they can tell you a whole spiritual journey that they are doing, but they don't give you symptoms. They don't know, they eat, healthy diet and so on, and they don't give you symptoms. But you do get the story, so you could use it. Sometimes this is what you can use. So it is useful in many different ways. And what I've seen when I've been working with Maesh, that he's very well incorporating it into the sensation station system. And actually the sensation is describing sometimes the group and sometimes the real sensation of a certain remedy. So it is very helpful to combine it. And now what I've seen from Scholten's work, that let's say we can actually, if this is the table, we can see that the first row is the hydrogen. It would be a bit equivalent to the hydrogen column, hydrogen row. And the second column will be the carbon row, and so on. So it has, and it must have this equivalence, because this is what nature is all about. Nature is about order. So what we see is that this order kind of echo in the spiritual world, in the mineral world, in the plant world. I'm sure it's there in the animal world, and will be also there in the human, and in the human spirit, because man encompasses within him everything which is the world. This is why we can be helped from something from the world. This is why we can be helped from a mineral, because we have part of this quality within us. So the world is like a huge fractal where you just look at a certain level and you see the same order. So this is why it's so marvelous, or wondrous. Thanks, Jenny. This is why it is so wondrous, because you see it again and again. And as we worked it, after I discovered it, we started to work it. Lots of homeopathy in Israel is using it. My student is using it. And actually for students it is easy as breathing. They just, it's very logical, and they just start to use it. Sometimes even more easier than me, because they don't have the background of, But I would say that you can use it in any different way, and what we have seen during the time that we've been researching it, that it is also parallel to many other things. It is parallel to the human chakra. Like every column will be one chakra. Of course, there is an inner partitioning, but it is parallel to every column. The first column will parallel to the first chakra, as I will show you. The second to the second, the third to the third. It was amazing to see that. It is also parallel to the day of creation. Because actually we can see this story of development in the mythologic that the humanity has been telling herself. So in stories and legend, and we will see the same repeating development story. And it is even echo in the history of humankind. So it is there, it is there everywhere you look. So sometimes you can say, this is the problem with my patient. He is stuck in this, it is every time you have another patient and another story, so you can and you need to look at it from another perspective. So this could be also helpful, even to understand it, because once as a homeopath you're grounded in your understanding, you can use it very freely. So all in all, plants are about development. If you look at a plant, you see that plant is developing from the moment it is how do you say, from a seed to a plant, that germinating. The moment it is germinating to the moment it dies, it keeps growing, like our hair. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. So that's what plants are about. Actually, plants has moved the whole evolution on Earth, because everything is based on that. The mineral evolution is so slow, millions of years, but the plant evolution has just pushed the evolution of the living things, the other living things. So it's just about development. So question of development in the human being would be very much helped by that. So the thing is that if you take the botanical order and you put the materia medica, the proving around it, you just kind of put one order and then another. You just put all the materia medica in this order. You read it. It's like you've taken the alphabet and put it in order of words. Suddenly you have a story. Then you can read it as a story of development. It becomes a real story. This was actually for me the most amazing understanding, that this is like a huge unfolding story from beginning to our time. From the beginning of human history to our time, from the beginning of human development to the top of his development. This is the story of plants that we are going to understand during this seminar.